Hello, everyone, and a very happy Vaisakhi to all of you out there. It is usually celebrated on 13th or 14th April every year, which commemorates the formation of Khalsa Panth of warriors under Guru Gobind Singh Ji in 1699. Now, Vaisakhi is the day when the Sikhs were decorated as soldiers to fight the evil in the world. We all celebrate it as victory over evil and also as the beginning of the new solar system. So, as it appropriately comes, we can positively celebrate it by being the warrior who can fight this cruel virus. In fact, we are almost victorious in controlling it to a large extent and would soon be free of it. Today, I would be taking a bit more of your time because there are certain phenomena happening in the universe and we should not miss it. I will speak about this in the end, but first, it's my Neptune. Now, there are two kinds of planets: the personal, that is, the fast moving planets, which include the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. They are said to be fast moving due to the relatively short time it takes for these planets to travel the 12 signs of the zodiac. Now, the speed ranges from 28 days for the moon to 1 year and 220 days for the Mars. Now, because these planets shift relatively quickly from one sign to the other, they release their energies very differently in each individual. Planets that are considered to be collective, slow moving planets are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Now, these planets move a lot slower and ranges from 12 years for Jupiter to Pluto being the snail of the zodiac, taking its own sweet time of 249 years to travel through all the 12 signs. Due to collective planets remaining in a sign for several years, their energies, with the exception of Jupiter and Saturn, will affect one or several generations, which make their influence on the individual's personality, and this is relatively important. So, my dear viewers, my listeners, please pay attention. Neptune may be a slow moving planet, may be affecting the generations, but we are fortunate that we are experiencing the conjunction and beyond of Neptune. So, realigning our lives becomes important, and it becomes necessary if we are to achieve success or perhaps lead a very contented life. Magic is something you can make in your life. Now, the Mercury conjunct Neptune natal heightens. Now, the Mercury conjunct Neptune in the natal chart heightens your senses to such a level that the amount of information coming in can be difficult to process. It may become a problem deciphering what is real and what is not. With reassurance and acceptance of your abilities, you can turn out to be very, very valuable and an asset by yourself on this earth, for your family, friends, and the world at large. Now, when the Mercury conjunct Neptune transits, Mercury conjunct Neptune transit focuses your thinking and communications on spiritual topics, which are mysteries, the occult, and the secrets. It would be the ideal time to take up studies in these occult subjects because of your enhanced imagination and creativity. You could also take interest in your creativity or the artistic subjects like your painting, your writing, your journalism. Give vent to the ideas that are generating in your mind. Now, while this transiting Mercury conjunct Neptune can also impact on your thinking and communications in a positive or negative way. In its highest manifestation, this transit gives accurate psychic perceptions at all levels, 100%, with unbiased processing of this spiritual information. Ultimately, you can express these insights through compassionate, supportive, and selfless words and your thought projections. In the negative expression of this transit, thoughts and words are twisted by misconception, irrationality, confusion, fear, and paranoia. This results in deceit, treachery, lies, poison, and all manner of underhand tactics, which destroys an individual sooner or later. So pay careful attention to this period. Now, Mercury being the fast moving planet, you just need to keep building your attitude as per the demands of the houses it moves, whereas Neptune's energies will be more slow and you need to adopt and adapt to its way on a slower pace until it becomes a good habit with you. The journey almost takes an year. Currently, Neptune is in Pisces. It had entered on February 12th, 2012, and is slowly inching forward at a snail's pace. When it came into conjunction with Mercury on April 3rd in Pisces, that is the time when it's on its peak and is affecting us personally. Its retrograde will be somewhere in June 22, albeit in the same house, it moves back also slowly. It gives you a chance once more to introspect and realign. It's a blessing to receive this happy aspect 3 times in 1 year because it involves both the luckiest planet of all, Jupiter, which is relatively slow moving and is currently in Capricorn, and Neptune, slow of course, but it's the planet of wishes and currently in Pisces. This combination of energies can result in your dream fulfillment in your professional world and encourages a great amount of positivity and personal growth. The more creativity you apply to your job near these sextiles, the more you will achieve. Now, Neptune in the houses. Well, I am sure you all must have seen where your Neptune was in your natal chart and vice versa. Where is the Neptune transiting in which house? Because you need to listen to both the house carefully, define your personality and your life. Now is the time. So now Neptune in the first house. The placement of Neptune makes people benefit from an immense imagination and power of self definition, but prevents an easy communication. People born with Neptune in the first house of the birth chart are only indirectly affected by this planet, so the influence of the celestial body is not noticeable in them. Highly intuitive. They're very intuitive, they're always employing their spirituality and transcendental abilities to deal with the everyday life. It's normal for these people to sometimes feel deceived about themselves, disillusioned, and confused. So, people who are experiencing the transit need to work with their intuitions, need to become a lot more forthcoming in their confusion, in their communications. They need, if they're feeling deceived about themselves or disillusioned and confused, they need to clear these doubts of theirs. Now, what is the summary? The strength is subtle, mysterious, and relaxed. The challenges will be suspicious, insisting, and negative. You just may become very dogmatic. You just may become very negative. So you have to keep these challenges at bay. What is the advice for you? You should refrain from trying to control everybody around you. Now, Neptune in the second house. This placement of Neptune influences people to behave in less practical ways, and so their money will always get spent on more or less useful things. While they don't like to admit it, people born with Neptune in the second house of their birth chart have problems with their wealth and possessions. They tend to spend too much, so their life pretty much revolves around having to pay debts. Be careful. It's like they don't have any financial judgment, which means they should have someone to do their accounting for them. It also suggests they're not dishonest because this can cause them more problems with money, as Neptune in second house will not allow anything illegal to happen. So while you're transiting, your house is transiting the second house, you need to be careful that you don't do anything illegal or not be dishonest, and accept the fact that maybe the finances are going over your head, so you take professional help. What are the strengths? Elegant, indulgent, and sociable. What are the challenges? Unrealistic, resentful, and superficial. So, the advice for you is you should be aware of too much speculation. Don't speculate. And it's very important for you to take financial advices rather than work on the finances all by yourself. Now, Neptune in the third house. This placement of Neptune makes people express themselves with candor and charm, so no one can really get bored with them. People born with Neptune in the third house of the birth chart are influenced to be intuitive and able to communicate better than others, some even taking that on a whole new level. When young, they tend to be very undisciplined and to not do a single practical thing. Their youth years will also bring them a lot of insecurity. The older they will get, the better they will learn how to focus and how to become productive. So you need to work on that. Depending upon what age you are in, you need to see whether you've become productive now. If not, then realign yourself now. Now is the time. So the strengths are you're very intuitive, eloquent, and sociable. Your challenges are you may become absent minded, undisciplined, and controlling. The advice is you shouldn't let other people step over your feelings. And it's very important for you to not be so emotional and do things practically. Neptune in the fourth house, how it defines you. Well, this placement of Neptune encourages people to achieve inner peace and harmony in their lives, perhaps even build the house of their dreams. People born with Neptune in the fourth house of their birth chart need security and have a strong link with their mother and their house. As a matter of fact, their subconscious is strongly attached to everything related to family and the idea of a place that belongs to them. That is more appealing. These natives love being near water, and when older, it's likely for them to feel lonely and be withdrawn from the society. So, what are your strengths? Complex, original, but you're very introspective. The challenges that you may have to face is sensitivity and your indecisiveness. The advice for you is you should try and understand yourself more. You definitely be introspective, but don't be harsh. Understand yourself more and then write down what is it that you want to do, because whatever you embark to do now is going to last a lifetime for you, because Neptune has an impact almost for a lifetime. So Neptune in the fifth house, how does it define you? This placement of Neptune makes people benefit from a very rich imagination. So their lives tend to take quite dramatic and exciting turns. When in the fifth house, Neptune has an influence over romances, imagination, and children. People with this placement have the ability to put themselves in other shoes and to know what their loved ones are feeling. Natives having Neptune in the fifth house are talented actors, or they just love going to the movies and to the theater. Their imagination is extremely rich, and they are more romantic than many other people with different placements. So the strengths for you is glamorous, eccentric, and diplomatic. The challenges for you are secretive, unrealistic, and manipulative. So the advice is you need to refrain from being envious or jealous of other people. Don't clone other people, build your own identity. Now, what is Neptune in the sixth house telling you? How is it defining your personality and your life? This placement of Neptune makes people dedicate themselves to serving others, either through their choice of profession or just in their family and circle of friends. When in the sixth house, Neptune influences what work environment one is surrounded by, and the natives need to be of service to others and remain healthy. It may seem people with this placement have a great desire to help others, no matter what they may be doing for a living. At work, they may be very imaginative and the most grandiose people around the workplace. So, what are your strengths? Your strengths are you may be witty, easygoing, and curious. The challenges are deceptive and being manipulative. So, what is the advice for you? You should spend more time helping other people. Now, remember, when you're undergoing the transits, these are the things that you need to adopt and adapt so that the life of yours become much smoother. Because what changes you make now, since Neptune is a slow moving planet, the impact is going to be that far. It'll be so good, so rich, that you will be able to realign your life and probably receive the productivity throughout your life. Let me see what are the questions that are coming. Well, Neptune with Moon in the fifth house. Moon is of emotions, and Neptune in fifth house, I've already explained. And transition in 10th house. Please wait, my friend. I would be talking about it. And now, how to find, somebody's asked how to find Neptune in which house? Well, you need to make your natal chart. Once your natal chart is made, you will know where are the placements of the different planets in different zodiacs. And once you give your birth of time, or you give your and your place of birth and your name, my website could help you find where your Neptune is. And even the transit, it would be able to tell at the same time. So just tune in and stay for the one who's asked for the 8th, 9th, and 10th house, because now I'm in the 7th house and I'm speaking how the Neptune in 7th house is defining you. Now, this placement of Neptune makes people give more than they are receiving when it comes to marriage and the different relationships in which they are involved. The Neptune in the 7th house aspect has indirect effects over people and their way of responding to others, or their behavior in marriage and other types of relationships. This planet here makes native idealistic and completely unaware of what's real and what's a fantasy. It also brings a deep mental connection between two partners and great intuition coupled with empathy. So, what is the strengths and challenges and the advice for you? Well, you are very dependable, trustworthy, and kind. And the challenges are don't be dreamy, because you're dreamy, you can get irritable, and you are a perfectionist. So the advice is you should do more of what you love, because the more you do of your love, the better it is for you, and you will be able to spread that happiness around you. So Neptune in the 8th house, somebody had just asked me about the Neptune being in the 8th house. Well, this is here for you. Listen carefully. This placement of Neptune makes you abandon any limits when it comes to your sex life and death or shared finances. People born with Neptune in the eighth house of the birth chart have a way with other people's money because this house is about finances amongst all other things. And if there is money, there is honey. Now, what Neptune does when it comes to all these things is to bring deception, weirdness, and even hidden agendas. Many of the Neptune in the eighth house people will struggle when collaborating with others in order to build something from the ground or maybe something from the beginning. So you need to make partners, you need to build a sound foundation before you actually start working on your business or on your career. Neptune basically talks a lot about career. It impacts a lot your professional life and your careers. So please pay attention to your Neptune. Don't take it as a slow moving planet. And please don't think that, oh, this is a generational planet affecting generations. It is actually giving you time now to realign yourself and focus yourself in the career you choose, or be passionate about the work that you want to do, which eventually turns into your career. So, what are your strengths? You're observant, analytical, and decisive. What are your challenges? Well, you can be very impulsive and very moody. So, the advice for you is you should set some boundaries in your relationships. Now, Neptune in the ninth house, how it defines your personality and life. Well, this placement of Neptune makes people get easily carried away by all sorts of ideas and philosophies that aren't necessarily related to the reality surrounding you. Now, people born with Neptune in the ninth house of the birth chart are usually very educated and interested in philosophy, traveling, religion, call whatever you may. It's easy to influence them because they're always curious and use only their intuition to find out if things are true or not. And actually, they can turn out to be jack of all trades and master of none. So you need to be more focused. You'll be very good with art, so it's very possible for you to study this subject or even perhaps make it a career and teach it. Neptune in the ninth house indicates that you may not get along well with some of the distant relations or friends. Don't just keep cordial relations. I would say the moment you feel negative, it's better for you to cut it. Now, Neptune in the ninth house, the summary is the strengths will be educated, focused, and caring. Your challenges are very elusive and indecisive. The advice is you shouldn't let yourself get carried away by dreams. Now, Neptune in the 10th house, how it defines your personality and life. Well, this placement of Neptune makes people wish to find real inspiration in what they do for a living, so they might stop struggling and want to hold on to a routine. Well, my friend, I also agree with you that success should never be a struggle. It should actually come easily. And yes, being disciplined, you can achieve it. And now is the time. People born with Neptune in the 10th house of their birth are very spiritual when it comes to what they are doing for a living and the recognition they get from the public. You may be confused and have some difficulties as far as finding the perfect job goes. They're never who they seem because their behaviors completely oppose their personality. So, first, define yourself. Know, and now is the time to know what is the kind of a job that you would love to do. What are you passionate about? And don't bother about the cliched jobs. You do what you feel good about, what you enjoy doing, and probably your creativity can turn into your career. So, Neptune in the 10th house, the strengths are you're very hardworking, elegant and approachable. Your challenges are you may be perfectionist and judgmental. You need to dedicate more time to your families. So, in fact, if you pay a little heed and you understand what your parents, how they refer to you, or what they feel you are all about, listen to it, inculcate it into your personality, and start choosing your career wisely. The career may not be acceptable to the people who know you, but are you working for yourself or are you working for the other people? Is the question you need to ask your own self, and your inner voice will give you the answer. Now, Neptune in the 11th house. This placement of Neptune makes people crave being surrounded by friends and to establish spiritual connections with others involved in different groups. Now, Neptune in 11th house people are very hopeful, dreamy, and friendly. It's easy for you to get together with others and usually have a large social circle formed from all kind of individuals who are somehow strange and also perhaps unconventional. These natives are normally rebels and conspirators of the zodiac. The people who plan for a long term and rely a lot on their intuition. If they want to see their dreams coming true, it's important for them to develop good strategies. So, mind you, if your transit Neptune is undergoing the 11th house, you need to start strategizing your career now. Neptune does focus a lot on an individual's career. So, your strengths are you are intuitive, talented, and sensual. Your challenges are that you get distracted very easily, you are lazy, and you can become conceited. What is the advice? You should take more time for your passions. Work towards what you enjoy doing and make that into your career. Now, Neptune in the 12th house, how it defines your personality and life. This placement of Neptune makes people to be very compassionate and kind, but not to express all this directly. So because they're scared they may be misunderstood by others. Neptune in the 12th house actually have all kinds of fears from their past, because this planet here has nasty effects over the unconscious mind. It gets impacted and your soul tend to get bruised. You have to get out of this thing. You have to cleanse your soul. You have to believe yourself. You tend to focus on what's wrong with the life, and when it comes to interacting with others, you only seem to absorb what's negative. So you need to change this perception, especially if your Neptune is transiting the 12th house. It is suggested that these people should focus more on their own happiness and don't stress that much about everyday issues or people in general. Neptune in the 12th house, the summary is become creative, indulgent, and generous. Don't be over emotional and pessimistic. Stay away from negativity. In fact, true spiritualism is learning the art of living alone and being happy with your own company. So, the advice is you need to show to those close that they can be dependent upon. Once you develop the faith and win other people's heart, automatically your happiness will also come back. With that, I'm sure you all must have understood briefly about the 12 houses and what Neptune does. Now, I've spoken about the Neptune in every house. If your Neptune is transiting a particular house, you need to adopt and adapt the energies of that particular house. And let me see if there are any more questions. Okay, Neptune in the first house. Well, most of you all have asked me about your Neptune being in a particular house. And I think if you've listened carefully, you would have understood the briefness of what are you required to do. Now, in case if you all have missed out, because this is going to be uploaded absolutely the moment I finish, you could probably replay it and see what the house means for your Neptune, whether it's first, second, third, fourth, or fifth. If it is transiting, understand the advices given, the strengths given, the challenges given, and try to inculcate that in your life now, because what you do now is probably going to impact a lifetime for you. Now, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can get the notifications well in time to connect with me. I've got a couple of messages conveying that notifications regarding my upcoming live events are not being received. A request for you to click on the bell button when you are subscribing to my YouTube, and you will surely get the mailers as well as the notifications of the upcoming videos. You can connect with me for your personalized charts or placement of the planets through my website, www.dollymanghat.com. Before I end, I feel the need to inform you all that there are 4 phases in an individual's life. Up to a particular age, depending upon the calculations of your individual chart, the first phase is of learning. You learn as much as you can from your life, from your education, from your courses, or what is required. You prepare yourself how to deal and indulge in the world. The second phase of your life is putting those learnings into practices, is learning and also earning from what you have learned in life. Third phase is of earning and burning, meaning enjoying our earnings. And then comes the last phase, which is returning back to the world with whatever we have learned from the world. So I am now in that returning phase where I wish to reciprocate to a number of my viewers and listeners who are keen on learning astrology and wanting to utilize it in a more productive way. Hence, I am starting classes in the very near future. The screening of clients is already on, as I would be teaching to a limited students at a time. To check out more about the classes, please log on to my website, www.dollymanghat.com. And because it was a little under construction, everything latest will be uploaded by tomorrow. It'll be back on road. In any case, you all will be intimated personally also. Looking forward to sharing my learnings and experiences with you all. Last but not the least, before I wind out, one of the side effects of coronavirus lockdown around the world has been the tremendous reduction in pollution level. One can breathe in fresh air. And after ages, probably, stars are also visible in the night sky. Now, this is an ideal time to stargaze. Given the number of constellations, one can easily spot in the night sky without a telescope or even binoculars. Hope you didn't miss the giant pink supermoon, because that was huge enough, that recently graced the night sky and addressed your emotions. You might not want to miss another major celestial event that is going to occur soon. Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and the Moon will appear together for 3 days on the April 14th, 15th, and 16th. Just for your information, Jupiter means expansion. Saturn means determination and discipline. Mars means using your aggressiveness constructively. And Moon means emotions. Be practical in your emotions. Utilize your intelligence and determination. Be disciplined. Use your aggressiveness constructively and see the world expand positively around you. So don't forget the April 14th, 15th, and 16th. Wishing you all good luck. Stay safe, stay healthy till I connect next, maybe in the next 2 days or 3 days, depending upon the planet configuration, because I want to keep reminding you how you can change your life and how you can change your attitude, which eventually is your altitude. Bye bye for now, till we meet next.